Iran vows revenge after the U.S. kills a top Iranian general. Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, January 6th. I'm Janine Samuels.
And I'm Patricia Malone. We'll have that story later. But first, an arrest in a New Year's Day homicide. It was New Year's Day around 11:30 p.m. Shots were fired into the home on Varnum Street in Landover Hills. A 56-year-old woman, a grandmother, was struck and killed. At the time, police had no motive for the shooting death of Filomena Vasquez, but tonight they have a suspect in custody.
It's bittersweet for me, frankly. This is a pointless act of violence perpetrated on an innocent woman who had spent the day, New Year's Day, celebrating with her husband and her family. The individual, Mr. Sammy Warren, a 23-year-old male from Bowie, was ultimately apprehended for committing this crime. The victim's 29-year-old son had sold this vehicle on the OfferUp app to Mr. Warren. Mr. Warren wasn't satisfied. We learned subsequent to her death that there had been exchanges on instant messaging of a threatening nature against the family because Mr. Warren wasn't satisfied with his vehicle.
Again, the suspect has been identified as Sammy Warren of Bowie.
A major charge is dropped against a former officer accused of raping a woman inside a police station. Keisha Butts is at the courthouse in Upper Marlboro with the details.
That's right. Well, a preliminary hearing was held earlier this morning where Judge Joseph Wright dropped a first-degree rape charge against a former Fairmont Heights police officer. 30-year-old Martique Vanderpool of Capitol Heights is accused of detaining a woman and then allegedly raping her. The incident reportedly took place at the Fairmont Heights police station in September of last year. According to charging documents, Vanderpool stopped a woman near Sheriff Road, and when she didn't have her driver's license, she was arrested. Reportedly, the woman's car was towed, and she was taken to the police station where Vanderpool allegedly told the woman he would let her go if she had sex with him. Judge Wright also approved Vanderpool's release on bond. Back to you in the studio.
Now, Vanderpool has 5 other charges against him, including second-degree rape, third-degree sex offense, and second-degree assault.
Well, tensions continue to arise across the Middle East as thousands gather in Tehran for the funeral of Qasem Soleimani and others who were killed in a U.S. drone attack last week in Baghdad. Iran has vowed revenge for the killings. President Trump has threatened to target Iranian cultural sites, an act that could be considered a war crime. Meantime, the Iraqi parliament has voted to expel all American troops, and the president is threatening additional sanctions against Iran. Many fear this conflict may take the United States into the wrong direction.
I don't think there's any doubt that the Iranians are going to retaliate, and somebody's going to pay a price for this. Now, let me make it clear. Soleimani was a bad actor. He was a purveyor of terrorism himself and a very powerful figure in the Middle East in destabilizing the Middle East and causing and funding terrorist activities. But having said that, we need to have a long-term, thoughtful strategy, not an impulsive reaction. And I'm fearful that the action that has been taken, if we're not very careful, will escalate out of anybody's control.
Now, Hoyer says he is hoping for a briefing this week from the administration about the specifics of the attack. Well, President Trump's former national security advisor says he is prepared to testify if subpoenaed by the Senate in the impeachment trial. John Bolton, who left the White House in September, says he has weighed the issues of executive privilege and, after careful consideration, decided that he would comply with the Senate subpoena. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has resisted calls for new witnesses in the trial. Now, Democrats are pressing to hear from Bolton and others who did not appear before the House impeachment inquiry.
4 Marylanders have died from the flu this season. That's according to the state health department. It says most of the cases stem from the type B Victoria strand, which is covered by the flu vaccine. Health officials say it's not too late to get your flu shot.
A coalition of residents, civic associations, and local governments that would be in the path of a proposed high-speed Maglev train are weighing their options to fight the plan. The city of Greenbelt is among those opposing the magnetic levitation train that would link Baltimore and D.C. and has issued a request for services to attorneys and to law firms. The Washington Post reports that other options to oppose the $10 billion plan include lobbying lawmakers and organizing protests. A draft environmental impact statement is expected in early 2020.
D.C. police are investigating the murder of a Hyattsville man that took place in the 1200 block of U Street. Police responded to a report of an assault early Sunday morning around 2. When they arrived on the scene, they found 22-year-old Damani Priestley suffering from a stab wound. He was transported to a local hospital where he died. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call 202-727-9099.